Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video, but today's going to be a special one because we had the man, the myth, the legend of Arena, Skratch with us. How's it going, Skratch?
Yo, what's up, bro? Going pretty good. Nice to finally be on the channel. It's been a while, like, we definitely need to organize a collab and stuff, you know how it goes.
Yeah, it was about time. Like, we're, from, as far as I know, we're the only Romanian, you know, like, bigger content creators that do content in English. It was about time that we did a collab.
Absolutely, man, absolutely.
Oh,
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's really crazy. So, guys, basically, first of all, we're gonna have a collab on Skratch's channel as well. I'm gonna have that pinned in the pinned comment and in the description. Make sure you go check that one out as well. But for today, I basically am needing some help from Skratch. I've been ignoring my main account recently because, as you've seen, I was doing lots of the free-to-play series. You know, that's with the whole HH challenge and all that. But now I'm like, you know what, let me start and push Plat again, because I used to always finish in top Plat, like not top 100 anymore and all that, because there's been some changes, it's empowering, awakenings and all that. But I still used to finish, and it seems like recently, I just cannot do it anymore. Like, so much has changed that I need some help.
Yeah, definitely a lot of things changed. And it's not only about empowering and all this, it's just about driving other people's accounts and people that don't normally play Arena, like big Krakens, you know, and then they have somebody else play their accounts for them. So that brings all those very high end accounts at the top of the arena, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense, because even when I used to push Plat, like especially before all the awakenings, empowerings and all that, I would see lots of the accounts in there with, like, you know, crazy team powers and all that, but I would still beat them because I knew what I was doing, because I learned from Rats, I learned from watching your videos, you know, I learned and I knew what to do. And for those people that are watching my channel and want to know more about Plat, obviously they should first check you out, but they need to keep in mind that Arena in general, it's more about the experience. That's my opinion, at least. You know, the more you do it, the more experience you gain, the easier it is to try and actually finish. What do you think about that?
Absolutely, practice makes perfection. You know how they're saying it. If you're not familiar with the champions, you're not familiar with skills, you're not familiar with what a team can do. If you're not paying enough attention to the team power and all the things, like if it's a high team power, you're gonna know that's resistance. I cannot go in with 700 accuracy, or if that team is not on very high team power, that might be a very fast team and you might get surprised like that. So if you're not always paying attention on your surroundings to kind of like be aware of what might happen, kind of like try to anticipate it, you're just not gonna do good. And of course they're gonna blame it on all the whales and stuff, but I'm not saying that spending tons of money doesn't help, because it does a lot. But if you're clueless, it doesn't matter if you're fighting a whale or just a free-to-play account. If that free-to-play account is smarter than you, you're gonna get wrecked, you know.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, I remember when I first started pushing Plat, the first week that I pushed, like I pushed the last half an hour, and I did like 10 or 12 fights, okay? So that's, you know, that sounds like what? And that was like over a year ago, where we didn't have everything to be as slow. After I did it for like 3 months, I was pushing the last 15 minutes and I was putting like 20, 25 fights in, because I already know what I'm fighting, I already knew my teams, I already knew what to look for, and, you know, it's just that those clicks become faster. Like, okay, I know I take this one, I know I take that one. But again, the thing with Arena in general, I never used to be a big PvP player in games in general. I'm more about PvE and all that, but Raid was the first one that actually started, you know, trying it and playing it more, because it was fun, it was exciting. It still seemed a little bit balanced. Like, you know, the Krakens, not sure Krakens are always going to win, but it still has some balance. However, now I'm losing that balance, man. I have no idea.
The balance is lost, man. Like, yeah, it's before the empowerment and the rest of the things. Yeah, you could have said that even if you were not the biggest spender or stuff like that, you would have had a much better chance at finishing in a very high top. You know, now a lot of things change. Now you have the empowerment, which gives you insane stats, and it's not such a massive issue if you're thinking, okay, this guy attacks me with a +4 Tranda, I'm gonna lose. It's not like that. But when you are attacking a +4 Duchess and you're going in with a different champion that doesn't have enough accuracy to lock a +4 Duchess, because they gain a lot of extra stats, you know, and on top of it you have the awakening, which is kind of like another sort of empowerment. Basically, it's almost equal in terms of stats when you're talking about a resistance, or you're talking about speed or crit damage or attack that you're getting from it. So it is actually a massive difference from a year ago, a year and a half ago, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. My best placement was about a year ago, just before empowerment. I think it was like a month before empowerment. And you know what? For somebody that was not in top clan, it's like, okay, I'm in a big cluster, but I'm not, in the ET, MADs, SPs, IPRs, all those big ones. I got my best finish as 21. I was pretty proud of that one. It's like,
yeah, that's good, man. Very good, yeah.
That's pretty 100%. Good. But after that, after the empowerment started coming in, I could still squeeze into top 100. 3 months later, when all that, so, more people started getting those empowerments, and the Altar of Souls, like, I just cannot break top 100. And now recently, I can barely hang in there. It's like, either get to like 200 or I just finish in gold 4. Because, somebody beats me at the end and just drop from gold 5 after reset and get to gold 4.
Yeah, 100%. It's definitely very important to keep up to date with what's happening. So the thing with Arena is always a changing meta in a way or another. You might see the same sort of champions in defenses, but what changes is their builds and all the rest of the things. And yeah, probably if you're looking at the Arena, you're gonna see that for the last 2-3 years, Warlord is there, Sif is there, Rotos might be there. Of course, we have new champions that are in the game, new additions and stuff that are making their way into it. But the thing that always fluctuates from week to week is the builds that people do. So this week, you might attack my team, my exact same team, and I have a high resistance team. Next week, the exact same team is going to be in totally different build. And if you're not adapting to this, to constantly change your builds, you're going to be left behind regardless of what champions you have. You can have the top champions, but if you're not progressing through the builds and constantly update them, you're going to be left behind.
Yeah. I get what you mean. That makes sense. But let's say for somebody like me, or maybe there are other people watching this video that might be like, you know what? I just want to place in Plat weekly. I don't care about getting top placement. I just want to place in there, grab myself a void shard, some books, some gems, whatever I can grab. Do you think that still applies to them as well? Or if they have the right champions in the decent builds, they can just keep them like that? Because I'm not going to lie, my builds have been the same from the last year. Just like, higher speeds or maybe like some different changes in there. But I still managed to kind of do it, but it's becoming more and more difficult.
I feel like the builds definitely need to be changed. Like 1 year ago, speed was still decent to have a pretty slow nuker. Now, if you're going with a 180 speed nuker, you're just not going to be able to do much. You're gonna hit Stone Skin, you're going to hit Reaction, and you're just going to waste your AoE skills, and you're going to go in front of the enemy as well. So that will keep you in a very, very long fight. A lot of things like this are very important. That's why, let's just say, yeah, you go 2-3 weeks with the same builds, like you're not adjusting anything, and you'll be fine. But then slowly you're gonna notice that, yeah, my team is just not doing good. My offense fights are taking much longer than before. What happened, So that's one thing that happened.
That's what I felt.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's how it is,
I'm not changing my defense.
I'm not changing the builds on my nukers like every week or every 2 weeks. I'm trying to like, I kept my nukers slow probably for the last, I don't know, like 9-10 months or so. My nukers are very slow since Reaction came in, and after Stone Skin was literally no point to keep them fast. But the thing is, I'm constantly changing other champions around the nukers, to enable that nuker to have his full potential unlocked,
Yeah, because there's so many new champions introduced with so many new, different things. We had the Ultimate Death Knight came in. We had the Harimas. We had now the Power Duo, Torres and Marichka. We have so many things. Even Uko. The funny thing with Mighty Uko is like this. I'm going to tell you something. This is really funny. When they announced that fusion, I was telling people on my channel, like, yep, he's going to be amazing for Hydra, but mark my words, he's going to be top tier in Arena. People are like, yeah, not really, because he can only steal 1 Stone Skin and all that. I'm like, just you wait. He doesn't have just the passive, but he's A2. He just like has everything to steal buffs. And now, from what I heard, it's like it's not the era of debuffs anymore. It's all the era about buffs. So Uko's having a chance to steal on every skill almost. He's kind of like top tier. So
it's always the same. Sorry to interrupt. It's always the same situation. Like whenever a champion comes, like Ultimate Death Knight, like Mighty Uko, Pythian, like I'm always, guys, you don't want to miss this one. This is gonna be a strong champion. Nah, his kit sucks. 2 months later, they're top of the meta, and it is what it is. Those you can see on their kit that they're bringing something unique to the game that other champions don't have. And when you are bringing more RNG to an RNG fight, it's 100% the champion that's gonna be in the meta. You know, like it's kind of like a no-brainer. But people always hate. People always go and hear an opinion on a different side, which probably is just towards more PvE, and they're just thinking like somebody might have a bad day and he just doesn't like the champion that day, and they just go around it, you know. But most of the times, the people that they come in with that hate, they're always wrong, and they learn it. They learn it the hard way later on, especially if they skip the champions. Same with Ninja.
Yeah, and that's true. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you were one of the first ones that I started watching. I didn't even know you were Romanian at that time. But I was watching Hell Hades, Chosen, Cold Brew, you, and I don't remember that. I think Ash. And I remember, ever since I was watching you, honestly, you were never wrong. Not gonna lie. You were never wrong when you said about the fusion. Like, this guy's gonna be good for this. Doesn't matter if it's just specific for Arena. But you were always right. So, you know, if you guys are watching me and also watching Skratch, if I say he's not good, but Skratch says he's good, listen to what Skratch says. He's definitely going to have a good point there.
I can be wrong as well. I was wrong on Lady Kimi. Like, I wasn't a big fan at the beginning for some reason, but...
Oh, okay. She was not the fusion, though.
No, she wasn't a fusion.
See, so, yeah. So, let's have a look now on my champions that I have. And, I don't know, maybe you can give me... I just... got out of my vault the ones that I thought could still have some impact in the arena, and maybe you can tell me a few of these ones which you think are still viable. I can show you the builds, you can give me some tips and tricks that, like, you know, what you think I should work on. So these I don't have those. I don't have the newest ones, none of them. My most relevant one for arena I think is still Warlord, and this is the one I got like a year and a half ago, like a random sharp pull. Apart from that,
you still have good champions, you know, like the main thing you should focus on is, because the thing you said, like, even if you're doing slower fights in your offense, but if your defense gets hammered down by everybody, that's an issue, because it doesn't matter how many wins you're getting in. If you're just getting losses, you're just gonna drop hard, you know. And the main thing that I would focus on is probably to make a good defense for your account, you know, and that will have to bring in champions that bring in quite a bit of RNG. They bring a bit of a threat, you know, so you do need to have some sort of damage that will give you a winning condition. Just stalling is not an option for the last 1 year or so. So you definitely need to be on point with that. And yeah, it seems like Mortu Macab might be one of the best options for you. It is fairly easy to counter nowadays. Harima, Duchess, and Stone Skin, depending on how you're playing your offense. But the thing is, you still need a threat. And you do have Rotos, which is great, but you don't have an Necret to keep Rotos protected. A round that will just burn through him if he's not
That's
protected.
My most wanted one. Out of the Void legendaries, for the sake of Arena, Necret is my most wanted legendary, honestly. I mean, yeah, we have Thoras, Marishkas, but I still feel like Necret is always going to be there. He's fun. He's just so
Necret
good.
Is strong, yeah.
Currently, what I'm using for defense, for example, is I'm using Mortu as the lead with Duchess, Warlord, and I think the last one is either Mighty Uko or Mithrala or Sifia. Just swap in you know, between them. But like usually it's like the core is Mortu, Warlord, and Duchess.
Yeah, I mean, Warlord does scare some people away. If your Warlord is not fast enough, your chances of winning are pretty low with him in the team, you know?
I mean, this is what I have on him.
Yeah, so I would class that as decentish, especially if you're not going for the very top 100. That's a decent
no
speed.
chance.
But considering that you're using a weaker speed lead, other people might come in with a higher speed lead, with a slightly faster champion than yours, and lock your team instead, and then clean up, you know? So I think I would try something that makes people to attack me, but it gives me a better winning condition, you know? So if people attack me and lose, I'm getting points. That will actually help me to stay in Plat Arena. So I would probably go with the Mighty Uko, go with the Ultimate Death Knight, super slow on Stone Skin. I would use his lead instead. I don't want to use the speed lead. Then go with a Duchess to have a second reviver. Go with a Mortu Macab. The one issue with Duchess, for example, is that once she gets locked, she's just dead meat in there. You know, she's kind of like just
the cooldowns.
The cooldowns, yeah, that's one of the issues. But that doesn't mean that you need to go with a slow Duchess. You know, like I I personally have 2 Duchesses, right? And I'm using my second one for offense, but she's pretty good for defense as well if I'm planning to do a different sort of team. Now, the only thing is, if you veil your Mortu, his passive is not really going to happen unless they have a lot of AoE attacks, you know? So
Yeah, that's true.
that's kind of like a knife with 2 sharp edges. But having a Duchess in a double stone skin that's at a decent speed, that will allow you to use that Duchess in offense and in defense and be more successful with your offense team as well, you know?
I mean, I could get that. I think I could get the speed on her because currently I have my Elva in like this, and she's like pretty fast. She's like my anti-hedge, anti-lockout stuff. Like she goes before my Warlord and I lock out. So I do have some nice pieces. Let me see, is it this one? Yep, I do have something like this.
Yeah, that's a nice piece.
I have some decent rolls. I swear, in the last year, I think they buffed the chance of getting good rolls. Something happened. Like I keep getting more and more triple rolls.
I'm not getting them.
Really, I'm getting so many. Like not in speed, but new stuff. Look at this. Like I get some crazy
I'm not getting them. I'm not getting them. I think you're just lucky. Or you do have another option with Elva. So if you're using, if you have the polymorph on quite a few champions, right? So
I mean, I kind of get like she has polymorph. I could change even more too.
So you keep the buff strippers away. You could take Elva with Rotos in defense. Elva is gonna protect Rotos with her passive, so then an AoE attack won't be enough to kill Rotos anymore, you know. And then you would be able to play it a bit differently. You know, that's an option too.
So I could change my Rotos again. He's in Brim, so I tried some PvE stuff. I would definitely change Rotos into polymorph as well, or would I go Soul Reap?
I would probably go on him either Ward of Dawn, depending on how many stars you have on him. So you have 2 stars. Ward of the Fallen. I keep calling it Ward of Dawn from another game for some reason.
Yeah,
but
it's fine.
Ward of the Fallen, you know, this gives you a stack. So one quick tip here: if you're using a bolster set on your team, they cannot break the bone armor only when they actually break the shield as well.
I've never built a bolster.
Yeah, so if you don't have bolster, one hit from any champion is gonna knock the bone armor down. But with bolster, that's not gonna happen. So that bone armor will still bring you damage reduction on him, you know.
So, for example, would you suggest, and you said Elva Rotos, would you suggest I would make like a Sifi in bolster then?
Probably not a Sifi. I would probably try to use a different champion in bolster, you know. And the thing is, do you want to go with the UDK in there? You want to go with a Pythian? You want to go with Mighty Uko as well to have an even higher threat? Then you would want to use a speed lead. You want to have that Rotos a bit faster to make sure that he's going to get to rotate enough to recover his skills in case if he gets locked, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I'm usually trying to prepare my defense, because like I said, I'm not trying to compete to get to the top 100 and all that. I'm just trying to build a team that people will see and be like, yeah, this one seems a bit nasty, I want to avoid it. So that's the type of team. Usually, like I said, I use the Mortu, Warlord, Duchess, and whoever as the last one. I'm not as avoided anymore. Like I see people come with faster teams and boom, that's it. Like they RNG it or they bomb me and that's it, I'm done.
That's why you don't want to do that. You actually want them to come and hit you. But you want to have a surprise defense that they're just not prepared for it, you know. That's why it's good every week, every 2 weeks, change a bit your defense around, just surprise the people because people tend to learn the names, tend to remember who they're attacking, and they know, okay, this guy has this guy has that. I can easily hit this guy. But if they go next reset, for example, with the same idea on your team, and you completely have a different thing, and it's just a lot of RNG, and you're just melting them. You might not win every single fight, which is fine, but as long as you have a decent win rate on your team because of the RNG and stuff, that's gonna work in your favor, you know.
Yeah. So let's say you would look at this account. What's exactly the team that you would say the account should build? And, you know, the champions, what masteries, blessings, whatever. So let's say this is the one. I think you already went through what we have in the vault. There's nothing better in there.
Yeah.
But if you see this, bearing in mind that, like, for example, I use Warlord a lot in offense. He's my easiest and best way to win. So if I would use him in my defense, he would have to be in the same build as my offense, unfortunately, because I don't have a second one.
Yeah, that's normal. Like, I'm in the same situation. I have one Warlord. I use him defense, offense. So... He's doing the job in both directions most of the time. So for defense, you should make 2 teams, honestly. Like just play around with them and adjust builds on them sometimes. I would make a fast stun Uko that can be pretty annoying. Just get like 400 accuracy. Try to
Honestly,
get
right now I'm using my Hydra Uko. I've never changed him. He was pretty decent, but no, he's not in stun. He's in a provoke set. It's like, not 400, say 50. I could maybe push this higher with some glyphs or stuff. I do have a revenge banner on him as well, so...
Yeah, revenge things work. You do want to have some reaction as well, just in case if a warlord hits you, depletes his stir meter, and then if you don't hit reaction, he's gonna die. And you don't want to use provoke on him just for the simple fact that if you look right now at his stats, if a decent Rotos could be potentially able to one-shot him with a basic skill, if he doesn't have decrease attack. So if you provoke my Rotos and my Rotos attacks you with A1 without having decrease attack, I have a very high chance at one-shotting your Uko, and if you provoke the rest of my champions, that's gone. That's why stun works much better, because you're making me lose my turn. It does have a slightly lower chance to proc, but it's way more efficient for these sort of things,
And I'm guessing, again, you would go with the master, you would go tier 6 with Fearsome Presence, right?
100%, yeah.
I mean, I guess because Hedge is not, the meta anymore, I could take some of my pieces from him. I think I had some stuff.
That's exactly what I've done. my CC Hegemon is just naked, like.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the fastest, but pretty good, I guess. 283, 4. So let's say swapped everything from here to Uko. Obviously, I would try to get more survivability. So what's the speed you would say in accuracy to get on Uko?
I mean, as much speed as possible, and just see whatever accuracy you can get. Like, it's enough to mess up a team by just messing up their nuker, It's
true.
better if you can wreck some other champions as well, but if you're constantly pissing on their nuker, is enough.
That's true.
Is enough to get the win home,
Okay, so that would be the first thing. I think I'm definitely going to be able to do that, because having Uko fast, since I use mine, like I said, in Hydra a lot as well, having him fast, even if I do lose the provoke, I think it's still going to work, because he's going to just rotate faster. Plus, having him tanky for Arena, just going to mean he's going to be tanky for Hydra as well. So that's not going to mess up, because, again, at the same time, what I'm trying to achieve here is I'm trying to achieve stuff that's relatable for people like my accounts that don't invest that much or at all. So I'm trying to see, like, okay, if I do a certain build with someone, can I use him in other areas or not? I mean, certain people, such as Warlord, they're definitely Arena and that's it. Nothing else I'm going to use him for. But then Uko is amazing for Hydra. So, if I can do that to make him viable for, like, endgame Arena and Hydra, that's going to make me even happier. So that's a good start.
That's going to be just absolutely fine. Like, you're not going to have the provoke, which is fine, because you're not relying on this provoke. It's just not enough to be your main provoke champion. But you're going to be able to do the exact same work that you were doing before with him. And it's going to be the same if you decide to use a Pythian or stuff like that. The only champion that you wouldn't really be able to use around, except you're planning to change the boots every week, would be like an Ultimate Death Knight. Like, you want to have him as slow as possible, 2-ton stone skin, And a lot of people tend to be like, I'm going to get resistance on my Ultimate Death Knight, and they go with 400-500 resistance, thinking that will help them for anything. It doesn't, like, especially for PvP.
This is the best I could get.
Yeah, it's not helpful. Like, the thing people need to take in consideration that everybody can get perception gear.
Yeah.
And perception gear gives you so much accuracy that is just crazy. Then take in consideration that you're going to glyph your gear. You might have your faction guardians that are pretty accessible to the majority of people, because it's not locked behind the last tier. You might have an empowerment on one of the champions. You might have an awakening that will give you some extra stats. And getting to 700 accuracy for a person that pushes Platinum Arena is a walk in the park,
Yeah, so, I mean, I could do that on my, like I said, on my Warlord, almost 700, and he's pretty fast as well.
Exactly.
He's just perception and speed.
Exactly. So think about it like that. You're gonna get locked, and you just wasted survivability stats for literally no reason whatsoever.
So I would ignore the resist.
Absolutely. Just go on a lot of HP. I know a lot of people in all Platinum Arena will have strong Void Legendaries like Georgid, Barons, and other champions like that. So if a Georgid comes in and is able to one-shot your Ultimate Death Knight because you don't have enough HP on him and stuff like that, or defense because his passive might not proc, and he one-shots him, it's pretty much game over, And that resistance was pointless. So you wanna try to get as much HP and defense as possible, and the speed dead zero, like literally no speed on him. Now, of course, you can't really use him anywhere else, except you decide to maybe swap the boots on him and get some speed, a banner, and you're going to have to do that every single week, waste 200k silver every week to change those two pieces, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if people really need an Ultimate Death Knight in other areas of the game, they would do that. I don't use him anywhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just for arena, because honestly, after you get to endgame, he's not that must in other areas. Like, he can be useful in Hydra if you don't have other options.
Yeah.
He can be useful as tanking for Spider if you're progressing. But when you get to endgame, when you're talking Plat, that's what he's gonna be, like Plat or 3v3, because I use him in my 3v3 defenses. I actually try to get him like alongside my Mortu or something like that, so or like alongside my AoE teams, because if somebody comes with a Mortu, he at least can soak one of the hits.
Exactly.
And you mentioned something really important over here. The fact that like you want lots of HP. It kind of seems like it's, apart from being the what's it called, the era of buffs, it seems like it's the era of 100% ignore defense. So it kind of seems like defense becomes less and less important, because I think Georgit ignores 100%, Baron ignores 100%.
If everything procs on them, they can gather you.
So it's kind of like you don't really care. If you get, obviously, you're going to get some defense because you're going to have it on the stats. But it seems like as much HP as possible is kind of the way nowadays. And that also helps if you're going for like some bolster stuff. Getting the HP on that person.
Yeah, I mean, you still want to keep him on Stone Skin because he's going to be the main character that soaks the damage. The thing is with Georgit, right? Georgit hits extremely hard when everything procs on his passive. Yeah. And you still want to have some defense, but you want to hit over 100k HP. You want to have 4+ k defense, because if his passive doesn't proc, he will only ignore 50% of the target's defense if he gets lucky with the Helm Smasher to proc. So that will reduce his damage significantly, you know, and then your UDK will counter that and will not allow him to get his extra turn and kill the rest, you know. So it's a massive difference, yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's definitely good to keep in mind. So I'm definitely going to rebuild him for the sake of that. So then the next one, I haven't built my Python yet, but I see people use him a lot. It's definitely all about this passive. 100%. Yep. Like, get as many buffs, like 5, and then this buff, and like, you're not going to be killed as easily. So how would you suggest I build my Python? Would he be a good bolster candidate?
He is a good bolster candidate, but the thing is, if you're getting bombed by somebody and your bolster is just not strong enough to withhold the damage, you know, you are kind of like gonna lose it with it, you know. The problem with Python, he pairs extremely well with champions that already bring buffs without using their skills, you know. Is the era of lockdown, okay? Like human host, warlords, even bashers in some cases if they don't have a better option.
Yeah, that's true.
And if they lock you, Python, he won't be able to buff. Anyway, he only brings one buff. Duchess won't be able to buff. And then you're going to be like, okay, what am I going to do now? You know, like,
that's true,
I do have some damage reduction, but just not enough. A bolster could work, but it really depends what other champ. So if you go Python on bolster, and you go Mighty Uko on stun, you go Rotos in your defense, and you go Elva. Elva on Stone Skin, she can cleanse, okay, if that's the case. And Python can be on a nice bolster, and that can bring you a bit of extra survivability like that, you know.
Yeah, that makes it so many things that changes so many things that, like, it's becoming more and more confusing. And you know what's also a problem? I become more surprised when I attack. I'm like, wait, what just happened? Why am I not doing damage? Because my main DPS is still my Tranda. That's, you know, I have my best offense gear on her. It's this one. This is the best I could do in Savage plus Crew. I don't have all the empowerments.
Still good stats, but the main problem that you have right there is that speed, you know. Like, I would try to drop that speed by 60 or more if possible, you know, like take her to base speed if I can.
Really? Is it that low? I know the speeds were always low because Stone Skin reaction, all that, but that's low?
Yeah, that's one thing that keeps you in your offense fights, you know, right there.
Oh, okay.
That speed.
Let's randomly let me just check that one with the optimizer quickly, see, because, you know, I'm one of those plebs that uses the optimizer.
That's fine.
Okay, so let's see what I could do on the Tranda. Just randomly. So Tranda, let's reset. Let's go highest. Let's say I take from everything, because then I can obviously change it. Highest damage, guess A3 or overall. And I'm gonna give it Savage plus Cruel, because I'm 100% that's what it's gonna. Or let me just leave it Savage. And I put no speed and all, maybe. See what it gives me.
Try to get it as low as possible. Yeah.
So let's see. Let's see. Is it gonna be fast? It's gonna take me 5 years.
You see, I've always been one of those persons that never sold the gear, even if it didn't have speed. I know everybody was saying before, sell the gear if it doesn't have speed, and everybody was doing it because they didn't know better. And for me, it's actually not a problem. I have most of my nukers at super low speeds. Like I can build 5-6 nukers on super low speeds, and it's great, you know, because I haven't sold the gear without speed.
Yeah, this one keeps looking. 1 second, because I see keeps flashing. I don't know why. Just keep flashing. I might just cut this part out. You kept flashing black, white.
I don't know. Maybe how you're clicking there with the optimizer.
Oh, was it this one? Maybe while I'm here.
Yeah, it's only when you started clicking on that thing. I've seen that.
Oh, when I go on this one. Oh, okay. Okay, we're back. I'm just gonna cut that part out.
That's fine.
Okay, so basically you would suggest I would go like this. I mean, I don't gain that much. Again, like 23 crit damage and 200 and something attack.
It's not about gaining. It's about dropping. So the thing is, you're so fast that when you're going in, the enemies are slower than you. So if you're attempting to use the AoE skill, is a waste. You might save the AoE skill, and they're taking their turns. And the thing is, you're gonna rotate again. They're still in stone skin, and you're gonna be like, okay, what am I doing now? Because again, I cannot use the AoE skill. So you gotta wait another turn. 60 seconds passed, and only after you get to nuke, and you nuke them, then one of them decides to use a skill to buff or something because they finally got their cooldown because they rotated, and you need to lock them again, and you're gonna be like, God damn it, I cannot kill these guys now, you know?
Yeah, I do have that lots of times happening. Like I go in, sometimes I go with the Roman to try to remove some of their buffs, and I just see like, wait a second, I cannot remove anything. My Trundle gets a turn. I go and do A1 with her, come back to her buffs again. They still have the stone skin. So I'm just using one of the AoEs, but then she, for example, let me show you some of my offense teams that I've been using.
Yeah.
Kind of the same ones ever since, you know, I had Rats help me out. But these are my teams. So this is the OG team with Madame when I was stripping buffs and all that, but I don't use this team as often. The team that I use the most right now when I'm talking about plat pushing is this one. Just go with my Roman 2, Duchess, Warlord, and Trunda. And in this situation, like you said, because my Trunda's faster and they just don't get a turn, by the time she can get to do her AoEs, she's outside of the perfect veil from Duchess, because obviously Duchess would go before to put the increased attack and all that.
And
then she would be like...
Either, yeah.
Exactly. And then she would have no increased attack, she would have no protection, she would have no nothing. So I guess that kind of makes a lot of sense. Now that you say it and I think about it, makes a lot of sense. So I feel like this team is one of the ones that works the best for me. Yes, it's RNG, because Polymorph can proc on the strip and then that's it. I did nothing. But still, I feel like this one works a lot, especially because I have my fast Warlord, I have my fast Roman 2, and then obviously Duchess is there for the protection. If you don't have a Duchess, I guess maybe... Brogni, but Brogni doesn't bring
it's hard without Duchess, man. Like, is the era of Duchess in offense as well. It's just like I've been saying it before. Like the day when Duchess is gonna fall out of meta, I don't know. I think it's gonna be
the game will die.
2050, you know. She's just so powerful, you know.
So this is how a normal. Obviously, there's no stone skin, but this is how a fight would go. He would go if he gets a turn at one point. Does that, and then my Trunda comes in and tries to nuke. Obviously, it's gonna take a while because of the Valk, and then boom. So it's like 16 seconds and all that. So these are the types of things that I would like aim for, something like that or something like this. I always like to have, especially when I'm going against Cantrophons, I always like to have the Duchess. If I'm facing a speed team and I go with my Hedgie, if there's a Cantrophon, I don't go with my Arbiter, I just bring my Duchess. Because if that Cantrophon gets a turn, my Trunda's dead. Just with the A1 Trunda's dead. And then you see stuff like this. it takes a while, but... Yeah, it takes a while, but I do end up winning in the end. So this is something, it was still efficient, but then you get this happening because you don't lock out, what's her face, Mithrala. Then you get decreased attack from my Duke. I try to click it there, I don't do damage. So yeah, this is something that would happen.
Like, I would be honest with you, like, it's going to be pretty hard for you to rely on Trunda with Mighty Uko teams, so I would dodge those teams. Even though they might look easy, they're just not. Mighty Uko brings so much RNG, and the probability of you losing is so high. And even if he's not losing the fight, the probability of stalling you to an insane amount of time is very, very high, man. Because
Yeah,
if
this
she
is
steals,
a normal team. This is a normal fight for me during Plat, like a minute at least. I beat it, but I feel like it's too much. I used to do it in like 6-10 seconds, some of these. And then I have this,
like
a minute, and then 2.
it's not the same anymore. Like if I would find a 6 to 10 seconds farm during a reset would be amazing, but it
Yeah, you
doesn't
just
happen.
refresh and keep farming that person.
And these easy teams, because how you mentioned, you're not the only person falling behind. There are hundreds of people falling behind, and they're just stronger people coming in. And the thing is, you're not finding these easy teams anymore.
Yeah, that's true. It's getting harder and harder. And I feel like there's more of the Georges. There's more of Taras. I swear, if I see Taras Marishka, I'm just not attacking it. Because I know I have no chance. Cannot do nothing against it.
Right there, what happened right here. If you were having a 2-stone skin Duchess, your Duchess was still alive, and then Mortu, it wouldn't have done much for you.
And this is what I usually have. I stop it so he doesn't do his A2. So I stop her, sorry. I stop Tranda so she doesn't do her A2. And then I try, obviously, because there's not much I can do. Do this. It's not going to do much. And I try to kill him. Come on, you got this, Tranda. There we go. It's better. 40 seconds better. But still, that ultimate Death Knight, again, seems to stall you a lot.
It does. He's usually the last man standing all the time.
Yeah.
And the thing is that this was RNG as well. It could have went worse for you than it just went there, Like,
yeah, that's true.
If Damorto was going for Tranda instead of Ramanto, it could have been game over there. Yeah.
I mean, I kind of played with that. That's something that I remembered. I played with HP levels. Yeah. Like he's 29 Tranda. I think my Tranda has like close to 50 or something.
Yeah, 51,000 high HP. Yeah.
Because I have the faction guardians with it. I had the the Great Hall and all that. I glyphed everything with HP and everything on her because I remember that when it comes to like the Sifis, when it comes to Mortus, like all that, people that target you on Mastery, for example, what's it called? I forgot the one. Fierce. What's the one in the support tree that if you stun?
Fearsome Presence, the Mastery?
No, Fearsome Presence. The other one, the 20% chance to count. Oh yeah, let me go there.
Deterrence. Yeah, to counter, you mean.
This is the one that I have so many times. I had a problem. I would attack teams with Lydia. She would have this, she would proc this one, and she would always A1 my Tron. I'm like, now what am I gonna do? Because it used to be Arbiter, Hedgie, Rocka Warlord, and then Nuke with Tranda. She would always be like A1 on my Tron. I'm like, no. And you know how it is. When it's against you, Fear procs 100% of the time.
It's the same with everything, man. It's the same with everything.
Yeah, so again, you would suggest one of the teams that I would use for defense be Elva, Ultimate Death Knight, Pythian, and Rotos? Would it not be Rotos Sifi anymore?
No, yes and no. The thing is, if you use Sifi, what she's gonna bring there to the team? She's gonna remove the debuffs from Rotos, but you wanna avoid people using debuffs against you, So Mighty Elva is gonna Elva is gonna protect him, with a veil to read the passive.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just about the passive. Places a perfect veil buff for 1 turn on the ally with the lowest HP.
Yeah.
So your Rotos is gonna start the fight veiled, and they cannot target him with a Ronda, for example. It's pretty hard, but these things like this, out of the box things can give you a winning condition because the people are not prepared for stuff like this,
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something I could try. Because like I said, I've had the same defense for 6 months. Just keep going with the Mortu, Duchess, Warlord. I feel like Warlord is still good in the defense. But one thing I noticed is if you don't have something specific in there, they come with a faster team and they lock you out, like you said. That's it. It's kind of game over. So it's kind of game over. Would you suggest I would build a second nuker? Or just apart from these two, because I have 2 magic ones.
I would definitely build Samuel, Inquisitor Shamael, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the thing with him, if I would put him on if you have a nice stone skin set, he will already ignore the defense once you give him enough buffs with that skill, and I would target teams with Taras,
Okay.
Because like that you can go in Duchess, put Warlord in the lead, Warlord in the lead. He's not only that he's gonna get the fear removed from him, and he's gonna get that Termiter, which is way more important than the speed lead from Duchess, but will enable you to attack teams that were faster than you before, and you're gonna be able to instantly melt one of the enemies with Shamael. Like that skill is just so powerful. You can kill one of the threat, one of the support, and then once you log them with Warlord, and you have Tranda available to clean up the mess after, you know.
Yeah, that makes so sense. I've seen that video of yours. Will be like, what, Shamel? How's that even happening?
Yeah.
I thought he was in a destroy because I saw like Taras's HP, max HP go down. I thought he was in a destroy.
That's his skill. So when he gets damaged, his HP gets destroyed of a percentage of the damage you deal against him.
Oh, okay. That's a weird passive to happen.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, don't make him too OP because he already has so much damage reduction in the skill and stuff.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. But yeah, damn, this like Arena changed a lot. It's still like, you know, we talked a bit, but I'm quite sure we could talk for another 2 hours about this, about what to build, what all that. But like, yeah, I really do appreciate the help because like I definitely want to keep doing it, you know, because I still find it a little bit fun. I'm not pushing for top 100, but it's fun to still have, you know, that competitive aspect that I could enjoy and try and still play. Because if I go in there and I keep failing every week, what's the point of waking up?
100%, yeah.
But yeah, Skratch, it was really amazing to have you on the channel. Thank you very much again for joining me. Thank you for all the help. Do you want to say something on the way out? Or is there anything you're planning on your channel? Anything special you want to say?
Man, nothing planned, honestly. I'm just waiting for the baby. My baby is due
God bless.
this week, next week. So yeah, I'm just waiting, you know, that's about it pretty much. Probably yes. I'll be chilling for a few days after, you know.
Yeah, you'll be planning on becoming a daddy and focusing on being a daddy more than Arena guy. Yeah. Glad I caught you before.
100%, yeah.
But yeah, again, guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget, we're going to have another collab on Skratch's side. I'm going to have that in the pinned comment and description. Make sure you go check it out. Again, Skratch, thank you. It's been a blast. Hopefully, we're going to do more of these in the future. And
absolutely.
Yeah. Guys, don't forget, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. At the same time, don't forget to like all of Skratch's video and subscribe to his channel as well. He's pumping out amazing content, so don't forget to do that. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'm see you all in the next one. Peace, love, take care everyone. Bye, guys.